Greetings, Scorpio. Here are your October horoscopes. So, September was pretty intense, but October is welcoming you right on in. It's really starring you. This is going to be your season or the beginning of it. So, happy birthday, happy solar return, happy days, and happy ways to our October Scorpios. These are definitely mysterious vibes that we're going to have, even some dramatic plot twists. Definitely a lot of truth is exposed during Scorpio season. So on on October 6th, Scorpio, Mercury is going to be entering into your first house of the self. And Mercury moving through your first, of course, you're going to be wanting to have conversations that carry a little bit more weight. Your words definitely have a lot of power and influence in it and persuasion. And here you are trying to review the truth. And the first house has to do with the self, the identity, and the personal expression. So this definitely brings this intense focus to how you communicate, how you're presenting your type of communication. Your mind is definitely very sharp, it's very investigative, it's highly strategic. This is a period or a time or a transit, right? Where you are, exerting your opinions and you're finding how you project yourself into this world. Your mental energy is really high and you are making it, this transit makes it an excellent time for you to like network in activities that make you feel energized or that can bring in these new insights for like opportunities. Anything that is like truth um revealing or like getting to the bottom of something, like researching. This is where you want to focus your mental energy. On October 7th, the next day, we're going to have a full moon in Aries, and this is going to happen in your natal sixth house. So the full moon in the house of day-to-day activities, service, productivity, even your personal wellness. The full moon is like this combination point or this point of reveal, which you know more about, but it's about seeing where your efforts or maybe your health or your daily responsibility, maybe where they have reached these visible results, or maybe you need to reflect and see what type of feedback you may get from this moon, or there can be some recognition, even maybe a sudden shift that requires you to adjust to. It is a time to release these outdated habits or systems, routines, even obligations that no longer work for you anymore. Your health is definitely going to matter and come into focus. So you have to pay attention to your physical and mental wellness. And even with Mercury, in your sign, you have to consider what Mercury does a lot with thinking, right? It has to do a lot with thoughts, but the sixth house is like, how can you think or how can you strategize for you to like how can you use your mind to predict what could happen by listening to or correcting the way that you feel on the inside, making a lifestyle shift, getting into something that evolves like your mental wellness or increasing it, or your energetic health or something like that. It's like you have to pay attention to different dynamics that you're feeling and experiencing, because your mind or in your body are trying to work together to signal you, so that you can clarify certain boundaries that you may need to put up, certain expectations that may need to fall away. Like this lunation is like empowering you to integrate this like efficiency into your care, into your self-care, into your daily routine, so that it can ensure you have long-term productivity and like long-term balance, especially a stabilized mind, Scorpio. So Venus is going to be entering into Libra in your 12th house on October 13th. And Venus in the 12th of subconscious patterns and hidden matters. This kind of brings this softer and more introspective energy into your relationships, into your finances, into your self-worth, and you can feel drawn to solitude during this time, even meditation or spiritual practices, spiritual, any type of spiritual involvement that involves like, reflection or reflecting that has to do like your inner values, romantic, financial matters. These are going to develop behind the scenes and they can be more subtle. You can want to keep it a little bit more private, but there is this emphasis on being compassionate. Scorpio also being like forgiving and understanding of the unseen forces or dynamics that may appear in yourself, in relationships and entanglements to others. This can be an exciting time to confront some emotional issues that you may have, even release karmic patterns and cultivate a more authentic inner peace. If you are involved in like artistic matters and creative expressions, which we all are in some way, this can be very private to you, but it's definitely going to be heightened during this time, especially when you're alone and like secluded by yourself. You want to get into like spiritual retreats, maybe even spiritual, like I said, working with energetics, like Reiki and things of that nature. You can do it on yourself or you can do it in private and no one actually has to know. Even like charitable activities where you're giving, or you're giving in order to receive like a thank you, and like you can help someone else. This is gonna bring you the most fulfillment during when Venus is in the 12th house. Definitely giving from alignment, and with the thumbs up from like your higher self. So Pluto, your ruler, is gonna go direct in Aquarius in your natal fourth house, and Pluto going direct in the fourth house. I mean, I'm going to say that Pluto in the fourth is not very easy. It's not a very easy transit. I feel like there can be, but as it goes direct, of course, this is going to happen over the next like 20 years as Pluto is in Aquarius, but Pluto is like restructuring your home dynamics, like where you live, your family responsibilities. And even when it comes to regaining control over your personal space and over your power. And this is a house of like your roots and your inner foundations. And so this is a house of being private as well. So it's asking you to transform like your emotional problems, transform your hidden problems, things that are ancestral, and those things are not easy. And that's why I feel like this is a longer transit, because it happens over time. And Pluto, your ruler, is trying to put in these long lasting changes in order for you to like confront these long standing patterns that you may have. And this may not even be in your lifetime, and you may not even be aware of it yet. I mean, if you have Pluto at an earlier degree, or you have any planets or points at an earlier degree, then you can feel it much more quicker. But this transit is encouraging this inner what's that word, like inner inspection, or like, you know not, I'm saying inner inspection, but it's like when you introspect into yourself about your family dynamics. Like let's say you're looking at your own behaviors and how you react to things, and how your emotional body is feeling safe or stable within this world. It's like you're using your own self as a test subject. That's the best way to put it. Even like your heritage, like where you come from, the ways that your home reflects your true or your inner self. There's going to be a lot of transformations. And even when it comes to like living in different places, and living arrangements and feeling a sense of security, these have to really align with your personal evolution. So yes, that is a transit for you, Pluto. I mean, that is a transit of Pluto, but I think that all in all, Scorpio, it's going to reflect well on the way that you develop in this life. Like there's nothing that can really break you and shake you down. You're truly grounded in this experience. So Mercury is going to conjunct Mars in your first house. Wow, you have a lot of mental clarity, decisiveness, and even like self-expression. You are motivated to like act on your ideas, to assert your opinions, and to really communicate things that have to do with like authority. You know, you must, in the first house, you must have self authority. And I feel like Mars, which is your traditional ruler, and Mercury, like conjuncting, it definitely gives you that. Like, this is a powerful period for initiating personal projects that you may have, anything that has to do with, you know, persuasive discussions or resolving any type of conflicts. Like, your mental energy is very high, it's very quick, it's very strategic, and you can really use it to get like tangible results. So be really mindful of like impulsive speech. Even sometimes, you know, Mars in Scorpio is gonna say whatever it wants to say, or even making like these rational decisions with Mercury there as well. Focus on channeling this assertive energy into something that is really constructive and transformative, you know, within your actions, or something that can really help you advance your goals. I don't know if I said Mars is going to conjunct Mercury in your sign on October 20th, but that's when it's happening. And then on October 21st, it's going to be a new moon in Libra in your 12th house. And so this new moon is going to signal a fresh new beginning in your spiritual body. And this is the house of divinity, and you know, exploring those things while we're still in a physical form. And so there's a lot of unseen matters that can happen, right? Things that happen behind the scenes in the 12th house. And this is a period for you to set intentions when it comes to your inner growth, healing, and releasing any type of limiting beliefs, so you can start a spiritual practice that has to do with like meditation, experiment, and like introspective work, you know, therapy even. And these, you know, hidden opportunities can come to light in like a private setting towards you, like when you're just quiet, you know, when you're by yourself, and you need to allow yourself to realign with your deeper purpose. It's a time where you are letting go of this emotional baggage or these subconscious fears that you may have, you know, even karmic patterns that have to do with that have to do with things influencing your life, like relationships and different entanglements and even personal values. Neptune is going to be leaving Aries in your 6th house, and it's going to be going back into Pisces in your natal 5th house. So Neptune, you know, exiting the 6th of your daily routines, you may start to see where work responsibilities or health matters or daily obligations, like they're not actually aligned with this clear insight that you may have for yourself. You know, you want to explore these, or you want to integrate more creative and compassion and spirituality into your daily routine or task or whatever you feel like you're obligated to do. Like, you know, it becomes more obvious how to make those things happen. And, you know, you're trying to make these practical adjustments in order to enhance your long-term like efficiency, but through a more creative and artistic way. And that can definitely be done. So the sun is going to enter into your sign, Scorpio, on the 23rd. Oh yeah, right? Scorpio season. And this is the rebirth. Either way, the sun is transiting through your first house of the self. And, you know, this, as I always say, the sun is a very powerful force. You know, it brings us confidence, it brings us personal power. And for you, it's bringing this vitality, you know, it's bringing this charisma to the things that you do. Like, it is increasing that for you, and it's allowing you to exert yourself in your presence with a strong impression. So this is a perfect time for anything that has to do with leadership, has to do with like visibility, you know, start embracing, you know, these opportunities that allow you to shine, Scorpio, and that allow you to emphasize some type of sense of purpose and self-direction. You know, any personal authority that you may have, really stand upon it. And there can be a change here, like your physical appearance, you know, even your health could benefit from this conscious, care, and attention that you may receive. We got a lot going on in your first house, right? We have Mercury conjuncting Lilith on the 23rd as well. And Lilith in your sign is really nothing to play with, in my opinion. Lilith is that shadow side of the feminine, but it's really the real raw and cracked open side of the feminine that's fearless, and it isn't in a shell, and it doesn't need to be silenced. And so, Mercury aligning with Lilith in the first, it really intensifies your self-expression, even your intellectual boldness and abilities. Like, hidden truths can come to light about your personal desires, or even these unconventional ideas can be developed and they come to the surface. It's like urging you to really be honest and really fearless about who you are. This is a time for you to confront these shadow aspects about your personality, what you like and what you don't like, what could be reborn again, and start embracing, this authentic nature. We die many times, I feel like, in one life, and we have to rebirth ourselves in many different ways. And for you, this is something that's happening in the first house. Of course, it's you know I won't say that it's difficult for you because you've been doing it your whole life, but of course it definitely comes with letting go of some certain things. And so, you have to really communicate boldly, and you have to really communicate strategically as well. And you can't be fearful of conversations, and because these conversations can really it can really boost your personal transformation. Like, these are things that need to be said, need to be done, but do it in the most constructive way possible. And then we're going to have your ancient ruler Mars, or traditional ruler Mars conjuncting Lilith in Scorpio in your first house. So, this enhances your personal assertiveness, your courage, your personal empowerment. Like, no one is more confident right now than a Scorpio. Like, your energy is bold, it's direct, it's transformative, it's giving you this drive, or this and like this innate energy to initiate new projects, and to like assert your independence. Physical energy is at an all-time high, and so is mental energy. And it's really an ideal time for you to take what do you call it, like decisive action, for you to channel the more assertive side to you into your personal goals, into your personal entanglement, like even your personal development, to like think a lot about your evolution and your health routines and your self-expressions, and do that rather than have these impulsive conversations, or even having these explosive conversations with other people. Like, you don't have to convince people who you are, Scorpio. You have to just be. And Lilith doesn't take ish from anyone. And so you even have to put that idea upon yourself. You can't take ish from yourself as well. Like, you truly have to break out of your own boxes and center yourself in ways that are real and authentic. So Mercury is going to enter into the second house of Sagittarius on the 29th. And Mercury moving from the first to the second brings focus to your personal values, your possessions, even your resources as well. And you're thinking towards like money management, you're thinking about investments, you're thinking about how can you reach long-term stability. You may even have some financial negotiations, maybe thinking about budgeting or planning. And Mercury enhancing your analytical skills can really uncover hidden opportunities, because it has you now thinking a little bit broader, having more optimism about, the finances or resources that you can make, even when it comes to communicating about those things, contracts even. If you have to sign something, you should read it. And even when it comes to like the material matters, these things are strengthened, these things are heightened, because they're supporting your long-term stability and your growth. Overall, Scorpio, you can feel like Your self-confidence is going to be enhanced this month, as well as your strategic thinking. Even when it comes to like deepening your emotional understanding of the self, of what is expected of you in this life, what at this very moment, even when it comes to like transforming and growth in relationships and finances and daily routines and habits, and what you need and what's expected of you to get there, and being real with yourself as well, even though that's not anything that's really new for you, but it's truly like you have this direct boldness in you, and so nothing can stop you except for yourself, right? And you start to realize that this month. So that's all I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye, Scorpio.